Okay, let me do the screen share. Oops, host disabled attendee screen sharing. I need to have the screen sharing. Okay. There we go. So, let's begin.
The Universal Council invites you to attend the One Planet, One Nation, One Race event in Rome on the 9th and 10th of September 2016. The Council looks forward to open interaction with the public at the event. Come interact with the Council in your spoken language. The Council encourages you to bring your positive suggestions and solutions to the table on how humanity can move forward as a whole towards everlasting peace. In this way, the work of the members of the Council will become the work of humanity for humanity. The full package price for a single ticket to the event includes 3-night stay in one of Rome's prestigious hotels, daily attendance to the event, as well as breakfast on the 9th through the 11th, and lunch and tea on the 9th and 10th. Accommodations for this package is based on double occupancy. The full package price for 2 tickets to the event includes 3-night stay in a twin-bed room in one of Rome's prestigious hotels, daily attendance to the event, as well as breakfast on the 9th through the 11th, and lunch and tea on the 9th and 10th. Additional night stay are offered at €150 per person per night. For those who wish to arrange their own accommodations and who plan on attending a single day of the event, the cost will be €200, which includes tea and lunch on the day of the event. For those who wish to arrange their own accommodations and who plan on attending both days of the event, the cost will be €400, which includes tea and lunch on the day of the event. The One Planet, One Nation, One Race event in Rome. Come share your positive solutions on how we can work together to bring everlasting peace to our world. CEST Foundation Ghana, in association with Ghana Atomic Commission and Ghana Spaceship Institute, would like to invite you to attend the New Dawn, Africa's Meteoric Rise in Spaceship Technology Conference, October 17th through 19th, 2016, in Ghana. CEST Foundation Ghana's mandate is to build awareness and promote research into plasma technology. The Foundation is presently working with governmental institutions and other interest groups in Ghana to fulfill this goal. At the conference, you will be afforded the opportunity to learn about and experience plasma technology firsthand. The cost of admission to the conference includes 3-night stay in one of Ghana's prestigious hotels. Hotel packages include a single, double, or twin room option, and an option for an apartment or suite. Breakfast, tea, and coffee breaks and a buffet lunch on the days of the conference are also included. CEST Foundation Ghana is focused on utilizing plasma technology to solve numerous problems facing the African nation. Come to the New Dawn, Africa's Meteoric Rise in Spaceship Technology Conference in Ghana. Learn about plasma technology and learn how you can participate in spreading the word about it. Together, we can bring freedom to Africa and humanity. And we hope to see you there. The CEST Foundation is extending an invitation to medical doctors of any practice and speciality to apply to the Foundation's private weekly medical teaching workshop. This includes medical doctors, dentists, and veterinarians. Scientists of the CEST Foundation developed different types of plasma therapies and cures that utilize advanced, non-invasive plasma technology. The weekly private medical teaching workshop educates doctors to the plasma science behind the therapies, along with the functionality and operation of revolutionary plasma medical devices. The goal of the private teachings is to add plasma health knowledge to the profound knowledge of medical doctors. The weekly class is broadcast live over the internet through a secure private channel every Wednesday from 2 to 5 p.m. Central European Time. Presently, the class is only offered in English. However, you are free to bring a translator to the class. If you can't participate in the live broadcast, you can watch them later at your convenience through a private internet portal. Every patient's case that is discussed in the workshop will be kept anonymous and private. This includes cataloged findings and data gained from the analysis of the patient's health issues. Any medical doctor in the world who wants to participate can do so by sending an email to doctors@spaceshipinstitute.org. In your email, please state your willingness to participate in the medical teaching workshop. If you're planning on bringing a translator to the workshop, please state this in your email as well. After we receive your email, we will contact you with the instructions on how to apply to the workshop. As a part of the application process, applicants who apply, including any translators brought into the workshop, will be required to sign the Keshe Foundation's World Peace Treaty, which can be found at the following web address. All applicants will be required to provide proof of their education and ability to practice medicine, and will also be required to pass an extensive security background check before they are granted access to the teaching workshop. Healthful plasma technology is here, now, the use of which is increasing exponentially on a day-to-day basis on every continent. We encourage you to come and learn about this revolutionary technology. Apply today.
Welcome everyone to the 134th Knowledge Seekers Workshop at the Keshe Foundation Spaceship Institute. It's Thursday, August 25th, 2016. And once again, today we'll have a conversation with Mr. Keshe of the Keshe Foundation. And he'll be speaking about the latest developments of the Keshe Foundation Spaceship Institute, and I think he's got several topics of interest today. So let's hear from Mr. Keshe. Are you there, Mr. Keshe?
Yes, good morning, good day to you as usual, wherever and whenever you listen to these teachings. We share knowledge on the basis that the knowledge can be applied and used whenever is needed for a peaceful application and the advancement of human race. As you know, most of you, we've been forecasting and we've been announcing that we see escalating rise on earthquakes in the coming time, starting from this fall. We have seen the beginning and the start of this as of past few days. I explained the root of the earthquake, and from what we see in past 48 hours, the country we are in Italy, has been shocked by a number of earthquakes. Number of lives have been lost, and this process will carry on deeply across the planet in the coming time. Earthquake in places never been and never been built to stand earthquakes. We stay and we live in Italy, and it's part of our structure. And we said when we set up the companies and the foundations around the world that they become the national assets. They belong to the people and not to us. Yesterday we released a protocol from the Keshe Foundation to the Italian authorities, and it was released and contacted with our Italian group, with the people who are involved in this job in Italy. And this brings to us what we said from the beginning. This is what we put out on the Keshe Foundation website yesterday and on the Italian Keshe Foundation. And our people have made everything available to the Italian government and nation. The text of what is being released has been put on the website. Rick, would you like to read it?
Sure, Mr. Kesh. It says, I heard about the earthquake. Please make as much as you can of the CO2 GANs and the copper GANs ready and go into overproduction. We are responding in to make patches, water disinfection, and food to deliver. I take all the costs. Whatever you have in the factory becomes an Italian national asset and deliver all we have. We need to make patches, water purifications, and food. We call upon all KF supporters in Italy to respond. We deliver all we have to you for you to deliver to the public in need. MT Kesh. And it's available in Italian as well.
What this means is that the Keshe Foundation factory, which is based in Italy, we own majority share as Keshe Foundation. We have handed over the whole structure. What we have, the knowledge and materials to the Italian government, which means the rescue system, which is here as part of the National Civil Defense, have been informed. Our people have spoken to the directors. They didn't even know how to respond to such a move. So this is how it's going to be from now on. Wherever we open and we have the Keshe Foundation factories and the structure, in time of need we become part of national asset, which means we release all our wealth to the nation to go through whatever it might be. This is what we told you from the beginning. Our assets belongs to you, and we have shown it. We are the way we operate and the way we talk. This situation would repeat across the world very soon. We expect huge losses in the coming months. I've been asked by one of the governments recently, what do I see in the coming fall? And I told them nothing has changed. We see it could be worse, or maybe worse than we think. If you are in any shape or form in possession of any kind of materials which is part of the Keshe Foundation teaching, be it GANs, being health systems, being patches, whatever, it's your responsibility to share it and make it available to the nation. We have made this before. We went with the Chinese authorities at the time of the problem. This time is at home. You don't need to go very far. The response, this what you see written here, it was a communication to the factory of the Keshe Foundation in Italy, which makes everything we have available to the nation. If you are Italian, please contact the Keshe Foundation Italy on the website. It's manned 24 hours. Giovanni and our directors in the factory are responsible for this. We have received a communication from the factory yesterday. Everything in the factory is available to the Italian nation. Learn how to have backups, how to have systems which can give you the initial and the people the initial use. Understand what the use of these materials are. Understand how you can help in so many directions very rapidly. One of the essential things you need to have as a part of the whole structure is 4 elements. Make sure you have CO2, make sure you have copper oxide, make sure you have zinc oxide, and make sure you have CH3. We have taught a lot about these things, but we have to know how we can use it. This kind of disasters, we have seen earthquakes simultaneously in different locations around the world at the same time, around the same strength, in different parts, in different shapes, in different structure. At the same time of the earthquake in Italy, we've seen earthquake in central United States, which means the two now are connected. We see at the same time earthquake in Central Asia, which means the platform of the continents is on the move. We usually see an earthquake of certain magnitude in one place and then something else the next day. But now we see this earthquake at the same time simultaneously at a high level in 3 or 4 different locations. And this is exactly on the line of the earthquakes which was estimated, and it will carry on. And it will become in order of magnitude out of control. The problem is not a single earthquake. The problem is multiple earthquakes which start creating vibration across the continental plates. And if this process of links each other, the continents will move. If you have a random, can I have my screen please? Can I share a screen?
Should be able to there, I think, Mr. Kesh.
Yeah. No.
Some kind of issue happening. Perhaps I'll have to reshare something to temporarily till you get that figured out. Okay, it looks like we'll just be a minute or two to get that screen share figured out there. It should be the official press release, I think, Vince. Okay. Vince is having issues. Okay. Well, oh. Okay. Thank you. Thought we lost you for a minute there, Vince. It's not good when things freeze up.
Hello.
Hello, Mr. Kesh.
Hi, we're back. We just lost. Yeah, we're lost again. I cannot share my screen.
Do you want me to stop the share and let you try again?
I'll try again. Let me see what happens.
Okay, I'll stop the share and...
Okay, I'm there. No, it doesn't allow me to share.
Okay, let me stop the share and...
Okay, I'm back on it. Do you want to allow me to share?
Well, I think you should be able to share now, right, Vince?
I cannot. I have a block. It doesn't let me operate my system.
It's got some exe that needs to execute there, it seems like. It said something
We have a connection on it. It doesn't. It stays in joining on Zoom. but I'm already in Zoom. No, I cannot even go out of my website. I cannot even go out of the computer. Okay, how do you do it?
We'll try to do it from this end, I think. Okay, stay tuned while we go through a few technical difficulties here. We saw the 134th insignia there briefly, Vince. The previous share you did with the video was grainy, very didn't come through very clear. No, I don't have that. Let me see if it's been sent. I'll have to check on it. Maybe it's on this server. Okay, thanks. I'll try to extract it from the ethers, but I think you should send it directly to me. Okay, good, thanks.
Yeah, I'm back. Okay, no problem. What I was trying, can I share the screen? Okay. What we have is, can you see the whiteboard?
Yes.
So what we have is that the Asian continent, the European continent, and the American continent, we start seeing simultaneously earthquakes at the same time. If you look, this has hardly ever happened before. And what it is, the structure of the earthquake in this time with the same kind of a strength around 6 or 6.5 or whatever, it shows that the final push, everything is adjusting together now. And when we see such adjustment in the same line, it means the inevitable, what we're thinking about and what we talked about, is coming about close. And Italy is the first line. We've seen it, because you have to understand why Italy on this end. Italy is a shoe, is the free zone. So it's a pendulum that it can absorb a lot of shocks. And we saw in Myanmar yesterday, in Italy about the same time, and we saw in Central America on the same kind of route. So this could be, and it's highly possible, is the indication of the bigger movement in the fall. For this reason, we need to start moving whatever you have. This time is Italy. We are here. I am coordinating as much as possible here that we deliver everything directly in. But the problem is that a number of earthquakes will start happening simultaneously from now on. If we see this repetition of 6 point, 5 point plus 6, 7 happens across 2 or 3 continents from now on in the next 3-4 months, it means they have centralized. The movement is from the internal. Earthquakes usually, when it happens, is adjustment of the plates they sit on. When it happens like this, simultaneously, it means they are connected. This is the danger. This is where our biggest problem sits. And in a coming time, everything will be pushed for us to be able to do what we have, what we can deliver. And as I said, what you need is a huge amount of CO2, CuO, CH3, and zinc oxide. These are important. Why you need this? CO2 as a spray releases pain immediately. In these kind of conditions, you have fractures. You have, try not to use it directly on the point of fracture, but near it, because the pain in the bone at the point of fracture is needed to bring in the calcium for the healing. You never do direct spray on the broken bone, but you do it around it. On the other hand, all sorts of muscle damage and everything else, you need CO2. CO2 you need for disinfection. You never use any of your material. We've been asked by a lot of Italians in past 24 hours, what can we do with the stock we have? How can we use it? This is for all of you, and it's part of the whole lot. You need the copper oxide for cleansing. You need the copper oxide to disinfect. You need the copper oxide to add to the water to kill any germs. All the ones we are talking about is liquid plasma. You never use your base material. You always mix and use the water of it. You need the copper oxide in the structure of the point of production of energy. You need the CO2 for neurosystem connection. You need CH3 as part of the food chain. What do? You always mixed the CH3 with very, very, very little amount of zinc oxide and very small amount of CO2. This is for digestion. This gives you the energy. This gives you support connection to neurosystem. This gives support connection to the interconnection between the muscles and neurosystem. Then you can add the amount of CH3 you add or you allow will become the free energy, because the carbons connect to each other, and this create the moisture which is needed in the body, and the surplus energy of H becomes food. The zinc oxide allows you the neural connection which you need, that it belongs to the body. Always add 1 drop of amino acid, which means the usage will be direct. Anything you use for food, it has to carry this in it. Otherwise, body needs to be able to convert it, that it knows is for it. Because when you add amino acid from your CO2 or CH container, you connect directly to the structure which the length and the strength of the materials which are in these structures. No more. So absorption is immediate. This is what you saw in my letter to the factory and to the Italians, to have the food system ready. This is the food. All you eat, every food you eat, goes down to the availability of the energy in the plasma as a gas state and the connection of it. When it's attached to the amino acid, it means is connected to human body for consumption. Whatever does not attach to it will not be absorbed, because we don't need it. You need zinc oxide on a heavy side as a spray or as a drinking water, because in these kind of things, at these kind of disasters, emotion is 90% of your problem. People don't care if they don't have food, but if they're distressed about their family, the situation, whatever, this is where you need to help. Never make a mistake between this and this. Zinc oxide, again included with the amino acid, but not connected to this food line, behaves and acts differently, and it works directly on the emotion. This is the tool what you need to survive from now on in any disaster. We've seen the German government announcing in the past few days, asking the German citizens to pile up water and food. A government so prudent and so correct all in their operation, as we've seen with German precision, does not go to its public, asks them to start storing food and water. This is on German press. Government have more data of what's happening in the background, on one hand politically, and on the other hand what is about to happen. We've seen the movement from the American government and the others expecting this possible disaster to come. Make CO2 in patches, plastic, paper, 1 drop of copper oxide for it not to disinfect, to get infected or bacteria build in. The copper oxide, 1 drop in the bag will allow the total disinfection. Doesn't matter even if you touch it or something was in it. Make sure in the cases of brain damage, in the cases of trauma with the brain, you do not touch anything for at least 14 days to 21 days. To do with the head part. This is essential because any brain hemorrhage, anything else has to repair itself first. The knowledge we have as we come to it, in the cases of these kind of things, we teach the doctors, and we're going to expand on it, is that coma is not a problem. Any stages of coma can be retrieved. The most important thing is to allow the repair to happen naturally, then you can do the reconnection. Understand the reality about this situation is that the earthquake in Myanmar was felt all the way to India and beyond. The earthquake in Rome, in Italy, north of Rome, is not one shake, it has a pattern to it. And we see the same thing in America. At the same time, with these shakes, we see the movement of the Panama Canal's earthquake zone. We are entering the fall, and we said there's a high chance, possibility, that this fall, the final movements will start. We will not see the South American continent start floating. This takes thousands of years. But it's the last snap which will create the separation. And we'll feel it heavily. This part of Italy is not as such a volcano, what you call an earthquake zone. You see earthquake in Austria because it's the way the island is connected to the mainland Europe. This is the reason we start seeing earthquakes in Switzerland and Austria and that part of the world, because now the little bit which is hanging as Italy to the continent moving is trying to snap off from the top, and this shows continental move. Be ready for eventuality. Losses, as we said, we put over 20 to 30 million once it happens. But now we've seen what we said. Beginning, end of summer, beginning of autumn, we see mass movement if it happens around October, November. If you look, most of the massive earthquakes and these kind of things, we saw it in 2005 in Thailand and that side, we've seen it in Pakistan, we see it in India, happens mainly in the winter time. This is the time when the continental move settles down. Now we understand the process. We still expect this winter, this fall, huge losses. If the continental movement, as is shown, has started this week and more or less simultaneously in the past 72 hours. The 3 continents movement have linked up. And this was one of my biggest fear. We lost about 38, 40 people in Italy yesterday and numerous numbers injured. These numbers on the American continent, which is the losing end, and on this East Asian continent will be very, very heavy. The first earthquakes will leave anything up to about 5 million dead. No national civil event can cover it. Not most of you who are in it will survive it, but those who survive it have to know what to do. And in any case, only about 5% of the world population will be involved in this movement, not the whole world. We're talking anything around about 300, 350 million people, which about 5% of it, 10% of it will be lost. In numbers is insignificant, but the way and where it will hit make a big difference in world economy and what we call this present structure. The total amount of the loss will be insignificant. Human race will cover from it. But the way it will happen, the civilizations we call civilizations or lifestyle will change drastically. What we see now as borders to be closed become open borders because there is nobody else to help. I explained very recently, the Mexico-United States border will become an open plan because there is nobody else to help people in Los Angeles and south, what I call west of United States, but people from Mexico. They're the first people who will reach you. Is there a need for borders? We see the same thing on the Chinese-Indian border. We have to and will progress into directly what it will happen. We meet in Valletta in next few days to restructure the whole Keshe Foundation work in Italy in respect to all aspects of our work with civil defense and the what I call the health authorities and the food section of the application of the technology. Next week we have meetings set up that will bring this into operation very rapidly. We are here in Italy and we are committed to Italy, and if you are Italian, we have opened every channel of work to be able to support Italian nation and Italian citizens. Everything is in the hand of Italians, everything is controlled by Giovanni and other people in the Keshe Foundation Italy to support. Reach us, we have everything available. We have made our asset national asset and it's part of it. The significance of it is two ways. First of all, we are there to do. Secondly, we have a technology which nobody can do. There is a consideration that we'll decide by next week if we release the total oasis system to Italian nation, which means creation of shelters. We decide not to, at this moment, to share this knowledge, but if the Italian civil defense asks us, we will release it to the Italian government. This is making shelter out of the systems you have, production of the reactors which create shelter, and release of technology in the dimension which we did not want, and I do not see a reason for it to be available till we sort out most of the other problems in the background. In our meetings with the officials, which is set up by Keshe Foundation Italy, we put that option on the table. We'll show them the structure, we show them how they can do it, and in that process we show them the energy units, which is not even in public. This means releasing technology which is not in public domain in any shape or form. But if the earthquake repeats itself again in next maybe a week, 2 weeks, on the larger scale, dropping down towards Rome, and then it will hit Gibraltar, Spain, south of France, We have to do so because European nations cannot support massive disasters like this. We see Greece, Turkey, Iran will come into operation rapidly. Then we have to release the knowledge very rapidly, and sometime in the future we'll see that it's applicable to all nations on the same basis. The worst thing is that these earthquakes, as I said, will come in the winter time. And when they come in the winter time, the energy is important. We are developing now technologies which are not, as we've shown in past couple of weeks, electron vibration, but the plasma field, the strength dependent. The Keshe Foundation Innovation Center is developing it to make it much easier. We released a blueprint for the generator about a week ago. Number of you have been trying to develop it. You have built the structure. The system, if you look, is a 110, not 220. We are looking into development of the technology that you can convert it to 220. A lot of you, when you see the blueprint, we will add to the blueprint in the next few days that it makes it easier for you to reach power production. The blueprint is getting adjusted that those of you who see a problem, you cannot get the hold of the right, what they call the compressors. We advise you how to do it and how to set it up. You all should be in position to get your generators moving by next few days. If you have a problem, if you can't get it done, you have to understand the way the system is set up is a 110 setup. There is a position in regarding the two, what I call the compressors. People are trying to be able to replicate it. We try to deliver to you a system in the next few days which does not need the two compressors, which makes it easy for you to develop. The process will be on the basis of, as I said, solid state. And if the, what you call, you cannot reach the production of the power or sustaining the power, there is an additional process or a conversion in your system you need to do, which will be sent out as a blueprint. All the systems can produce 3 to 5 kilowatt, and you have to understand the process, as we say, how you make it 220 out of two 110s and 50 or 60 hertz. We put these to help you to develop it further and become self-sufficient. The blueprint stands as it is, it works. It's just understanding to have the right component and how to connect the right component. We are putting this together in the next few days. We'll release it that you can help yourself, that the process is understood and done. And at the same time, as I said, in the background we showed, I prefer not to have these attachments like the pumps and the motors and to go in the solid state. And this we can show very rapidly, hopefully in the next few days, and it saves a lot of what I call shopping. To me, the system has to be in a way that in Africa and in Asia and in Europe, all can produce it the same as we done with the maglev system. Is addition to the knowledge, and as I said, if this is taken a step further, it'll become the flight system. Your system becomes the source of everything you need. It is important to understand, in Italy we have a 220. In most of the Western Europe we work on 220. America and a couple of other countries are 110. The system built in US, which runs with Douglas, is an American system and uses that kind of what we call mechanical systems or dynamic systems. The system which will be released as a solid state, it releases a plasma that as you need, it'll give you 110, 220 and the rest. This is what you have to understand. A lot of you have built a lot of systems, you are ready to test, or you are testing. You have a problem between the connection of the loop, which one loop always releases 110, where you need a 220. But you have to understand, you need two generators. The compressors which used by Douglas in the background, they are generator compressors. That's what they work. Those of you who find a simple compressor generator not attached, you have a problem. So the secret is a two generator pump, or what you call compressors, with and without capacitors, and in a position that one lags the other, and it creates the motion. The production of a loop is dependent on the capacitance and dependent on the winding as a motor or a generator. These compressors which are used in demonstration are generator backup, compressor front. You need looping two generators, but specifically done in a way that you can tap the energy from the two at the same point of the loop. And you need the maglev system and the capacitors to give you the 3 to 5 kilowatt usage. The compressors, as I said, is a compressor generator connection. And these systems, you have to find that you can use it. And with the solid state, we take this out of equation. You can build up the system yourself that it can create a continuous flow. And the blueprint for the solid state will be released in due time. Those of you who made these energy units, you've got to realize that in the teachings we are going and we are doing, these are already obsolete. In a way that a lot of you have built, and this is part of what I was teaching to the Innovation Center this week for you to understand. Those of you who have gone into the dynamic cores, multi-dynamic cores, you have to realize something very important. If you have run your system and you have managed to empty this core from liquid, if you had a two-stage liquid and you had another liquid inside here and that stays, this means that the field strength in the center is very strong. What you really need to do is, what you need to achieve is this. You need to have create a condition field forces that you can hold, at least in the first stages, to liquid in B and no liquid in A. You fill both cores with liquid and you have to push to a point that A becomes empty. If you see the reactors running and then you see that the center core has empty capacity or environment, this is not empty. This is part of your field. There were no opportunity, no way that we could get air bubbles here. The bubble you see is actually what we call field plasma. If you reach this stage of field plasma creation, or as you saw like bubbles in this, it means you're on a target towards production of energy and everything else. So your ultimate goal has to be to achieve a point where this zone becomes totally void of matter. Now, if you go back, you understand the process, as you put Gans water here, it means the water is gravitationally magnetically charged, and if you can hold a vacuum in this zone, it means in reality you have created a dynamic free plasma. In some cases you might call it hollow center, but it's not hollow. This is the beginning step towards creation of independent gravitational magnetic field, and the matter state of your core has confining it. Because even though you don't see, when you put your liquid GaNs in, you have created a very thin layer of GaNs material which is magnetic and confine the plasma. Doesn't matter how pure the water is to you, this is the principle behind it. If you can go a step further and put the third core and see the third core start filling up or start having matter content in it, when you start seeing the depletion of matter from the second core, if I can get it out that you can see it, when you start seeing what I call hollow empty spaces in the second one, and then you see this first one, A and B, both empty, you are in the process of field, gravitational magnetic field, and you decide the strength and how you can work. The emptiness of these containers is not that you lost material, is a sign of you have entered the next dimension of the plasma technology, which is the field technology. If you see bubbles and emptiness of the material in your outer core of the two, it means you have not created field strong enough to empty the center. You have to reconsider how much you are giving so much fast from your magnetical to the gravitational that cannot support or is not enough to support to empty the center. So in reality, if you look, what we are looking is such a thing, and if you have managed to put salt water, as I thought here, into the innovation group, you'll capture most of the material here in this layer. In this layer, the salt water, that's all you need to do, very small amount of salt, allows the creation of the materials which you need according to the salinity on this container. So what you are looking for, and some of you might achieve it in a short time, is the following. That is, you have material. I start from here that you understand it. You start with 3 cores. You fill up each core with different materials. And what you're going to be left with is the following. Two empty core that we call A, B, and C, and only material in C. A and B has to be empty, but they are not empty because, don't forget, this material is nano-coated here, and this material is nano-coated here. So they hold to their own fields accordingly, internally, as they stand.